On KSPR News at 6, a man shot several times in Greene County. What deputies are saying about the search for the shooter. Also, new information on a standoff with police, how the man found inside is doing tonight. Plus, a new program designed to monitor what drugs you get from your doctor, why Missouri's the last state to do it, and why some say it won't work. KSPR News at 6 starts right now.
Keeping you connected. This is KSPR News at 6.
We begin KSPR News at 6 with breaking news in North Springfield, where police have surrounded a house. KSPR's Francis Watson is there right now in the 800 block of North Warren Avenue, that's just north of Chestnut near Kansas Expressway. Francis, what do you know?
Jerry, we've just got some information from Lieutenant Tad Peters with Springfield Police Department now. He says that a man showed up to the hospital with several gunshot wounds. This was just a few hours ago. That man was able to identify the person who shot him. Apparently, they knew each other. Police came up here to the 800 block of North Warren to actually speak to that man about that crime or that alleged crime, and now we've got a standoff. Let me step out of the way so we can show you exactly what we're looking at here. It is the fourth house from the corner of Warren and Bauer, and it's the blue house over there. Police are trying to use a bullhorn at this point to get the man out of the house so they can speak with him. They're not really sure just yet if anybody's actually in the house, but they are trying to make contact again to bring that gentleman out of the house. Now, this is a separate shooting from what occurred this morning in Greene County. The two are not related. We are going to stay out here and get the latest information and bring that to you later in the newscast, Jerry.
Francis Watson live for us. Thank you. And that shooting she referenced, a man seriously hurt. Investigators say the person who shot him several times is still on the run, unrelated to Francis's situation there. That shooting happened overnight on Springfield's west side. Deputies say the shooter's been on the run since about 3 this morning. That's when they say they found a 35-year-old man who was shot several times in that house. Deputies say they're asking neighbors for any security videos so they can try and get a better idea of who that shooter might have been. Neighbors we talked to say they did not catch it on video, but heard what they thought were fireworks. Other neighbors still in shock that it really was a shooting.
It's always, scary and alarming when you hear something going on so close to you like that, and makes you always want to be, alert and do as much as you can to keep yourself safe.
Residents say they do have an active neighborhood watch because of petty thefts in the area. Deputies say they've also been to that house several times before for domestic calls, but the first time for a shooting. Police have not released the name of the man shot, and deputies say they don't have a description yet of the shooter. If you have any information, call 911 or the Greene County Sheriff's Department. An update now to a story we first brought you on Friday. The man who held police to a standoff Friday remains in critical condition. Police say the man fired shots at a woman on Thursday. They found him at a house in West Springfield Friday afternoon, and after several hours, police were able to get a search warrant and get inside the house using their armored vehicle to bust down the door. The man, though, had shot himself. Police have not yet identified that man. We've been following breaking news this hour. A man says he knows who shot him, and as a result, there's a police standoff. Police trying to convince the person to come out. Let's check in with KSPR's Francis Watson to see what's happening. Francis?
Police are starting to leave this standoff. They're officially calling over. They weren't able to make contact with anybody inside the house. It's the blue one of the far corner behind me, 4 houses down. Again, someone was shot this afternoon and went to the hospital. They were able to identify who shot him. Unfortunately, police were not able to make contact. They collected some evidence around the property, bagged that up, put it away, and headed out. Again, not making contact with anybody in there. So we'll continue to follow this and keep up with police and their investigation, and hopefully learn some more as the evening progresses.
Keeping you connected. This is KSPR News at 6.
We start tonight with breaking news. An Amber Alert issued for a missing 2-year-old boy out of Kansas City, Kansas. Police say Jace Bryant was forcibly taken from his biological mother by his non-custodial father. Say the father used a gun to take the boy, and police feel Jace is in imminent danger. Suspect was last seen in a white Dodge Charger with rear end damage. If you see this boy or know anything, call 911 right away.
Upgraded charges for a man accused of shooting and killing a pregnant woman now. The charges against 21-year-old Joseph Slagley were upgraded today to 2 counts of second-degree murder. Prosecutors say Slagley shot into a car on July 1st and hit 36-year-old Misty Hill. Hill was pregnant at the time. Both Hill and the unborn child died as a result of the shooting. Slagley is in the Greene County Jail on a $250,000 bond.
We have a breaking news update. Greene County Sheriff announcing new developments in the case of a local doctor and his girlfriend found dead. Sheriff Jim Arnott says the investigation shows Robert O'Block shot 27-year-old Tiffany Fleming in his house before turning the gun on himself. Deputies found their bodies earlier this week in O'Block's home in Highland Springs. Sheriff says he's still waiting for toxicology results and the investigation is ongoing. Well-connected Springfield man and his young girlfriend are dead. Investigators found 66-year-old Springfield psychologist Dr. Robert O'Block and Tiffany Fleming both shot to death in Highland Springs, just east of Springfield. Deputies say O'Block had been in a relationship with a 27-year-old woman and had been in violent relationships before. Sheriff would not confirm if this is a murder-suicide. A third party called 911, and authorities are now getting that person's statement. Sheriff says they're waiting on autopsy results before giving out more details about the deaths.
Mystery from the weekend in Camdenton. 3 teenagers have gone missing. This is one of them. Caitlin Butler was last seen Sunday morning around 2 o'clock with a group of friends. Butler may be with 2 other teens who are missing, 17-year-old Dominic Hurt-Vogel and 15-year-old Mackenzie Littleworth. All 3 are from Camdenton. They may be in a white Nissan Altima with front-end damage. If you have any information, contact your local law enforcement agency.
43-year-old woman from Kansas is charged with boating while intoxicated at Lake of the Ozarks. Water Patrol says Sue Forbes was driving a boat when she hit a docked vessel on Saturday night. They booked her into the Camden County Jail. No word yet if she or anyone else was injured.
Divers from the Arkansas Game and Fish have recovered a body at Lake Norfolk. 70-year-old Charles Hogan Daniels of Jordan jumped into the water from a boat Sunday and disappeared. There were 3 other people with him when he jumped. The Sheriff's Office, Arkansas Game and Fish, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Rangers, and fire rescue teams went by the boat and began to search for Daniels. The Baxter County coroner has ruled it an accidental drowning.
Pilots suffered serious injuries after a small plane crash in Missouri. It happened this morning in Washington County. The ultralight aircraft crashed into a field. Cause of the crash is under investigation.
A witness to an alleged murder north of Branson last month has now been charged with tampering with evidence in that case. 32-year-old Summer Terrell of Rockaway Beach witnessed a shooting June 15th when Najee Donson allegedly shot and killed Chad Dedman. Terrell admitted that she had moved and stashed one of the guns in the edge of the wood line. She is now in custody at the Taney County Jail and is facing 3 charges.
Back to school time means it's time to get your kids to the doctor. Springfield Public Schools is offering vaccine clinics this week at 5 different high schools. To take part, you must qualify for the Vaccines for Children program or be on Medicaid, uninsured, or underinsured.
Our news at 6.
An intense manhunt continues at this hour. Clinton, Missouri police are searching for 39-year-old Ian McCarthy after they say he shot and killed an officer last night during a traffic stop.
When Officer Gary Michael pulled over McCarthy, police say McCarthy got out of his car, then started shooting. Officer Michael returned fire. McCarthy got back in his car and took off, but crashed about 2 blocks away from where he was pulled over. Officer Michael died from his wounds. Now, several police agencies have put up checkpoints across the area.
No, angry is not the word. No, I'm not angry. I am sad. I am very sad, and but that is why the police department are out there. There's a lot of good people out there today defending, and that's their job. And I'm going to let them do that. And I'm going to be there with my family, and I'm going to do this and let the world know how big a heart he had.
Officer Michael had been with the department for less than a year. He was 37 years old. McCarthy has been charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action.
Deputies in Jasper County found their men. They arrested them for throwing bombs at police earlier this morning. Police say Keith Wald and Nathan Felton threw 2 homemade bombs while running from officers in Joplin. They were originally stopped because their trailer had no lights. Officers say they then threw 1 bomb and led police on a chase into Kansas before they were caught. No officers were hurt by the explosions. Both men are now charged with assault, armed criminal action, resisting arrest, and unlawful possession of an illegal weapon.
News at 6.
We start tonight with an update. We now know the name of a 35-year-old woman Clinton police arrested in connection with the shooting death of Clinton police officer Gary Michael. Prosecutors charged Brandy Noble with hindering prosecution and endangering the welfare of a child. Henry County prosecutors say Noble harbored Ian McCarthy in her home after she found out he was accused of shooting a police officer. Noble's husband has also been charged. Noble is a 3rd person arrested in this investigation, and police say they expect to make more arrests. Man accused of stabbing Claudinia Blanchard is getting a new attorney and a court date. Today, a judge set Nicholas Godejohn's trial for December 12th. He was given a new attorney earlier this month. Prosecutors say he and his girlfriend at the time, Gypsy Blanchard, killed her mother, Claudinia Blanchard, in 2015. Gypsy has already pleaded guilty to the crime and is serving prison time. She met Godejohn online, and prosecutors say she convinced him to help kill her mother.
News at 6.
We start tonight with new information on the death of a 4-month-old baby girl after she was found not breathing at a Greene County daycare.
Not much about what happened has been revealed by investigators at this time. The daycare, though, is here in the 3500 block of East Farm Road 186 in eastern Greene County. Stephanie Garland joins us live in our newsroom as deputies are investigating what happened. Stephanie?
Here's what we know now. Detectives say that there wasn't any obvious signs of trauma to the little girl's body. The autopsy was done this morning, and the toxicology reports it could take several weeks before we get those. I talked to the family today. They and the entire community, they're in mourning.
It is such a terrible thing to happen to a family.
For 25 years now, Mercy Hospital Medical Director Dr. Diane Lipscomb has helped families.
Every time a child dies, you grieve. A part of your heart gets left with that family and with that child. You never, ever forget. You will always grieve whenever a child passes.
She and neighbors of the daycare are offering support to the family of the 4-month-old girl.
There's really not much you can say other than that they're in our prayers and thoughts, and we'll continue to pray for them. We feel bad for the family, and also we don't know what happened. We feel sorry for the sitters as well.
We asked the daycare owner what happened.
As far as judgment call on what happened, we're not going to make that. Prayers are again for the family at their loss. That's a tragedy.
If you or someone you know is struggling with loss, there is help.
We have our chaplain services that help, and we do a variety of memory boxes that actually help the families with some degree of memories. And there's also organizations like Lost and Found in town that actually help families that have had loss of loved ones.
I talked to the family today again, and they are asking for space during this time of mourning as they remember the loss of their 4-month-old daughter. Jerry.
Stephanie Garland, thank you. Not much known right now, but we will find out more. If you or your family are grieving the loss of a loved one, as Stephanie reported there, you can contact a counselor at the Lost and Found Grief Center. We've included their contact information on this story on our app and website, KSPR.com. Thank you. Live downtown Springfield, Park Central Square, a live look at the ongoing Route 66 Festival. Large crowd already there, getting the festival weekend started. The parade is getting ready to step off. It will snake through the square with vintage cars and other vehicles. The 7th year for the annual Route 66 Festival. The weather's great tomorrow, as it is right now. The organizers are expecting record crowds.
The festival is growing more and more every year. Last year, nearly 40,000 people came to our city for the big event.
But Saturdays were always our main day, and in talking through that, we wanted to end on a high note, and so Saturday is everything builds towards Saturday with having the all-day car show, having Three Dog Night at the Gilloways, just a great way to wrap things up.
Route 66 parade starts at 6:30, about 25 minutes from now. Tomorrow, the festival opens at 6:30 a.m. for the Run Walk Packet Pickup, and the entire festival ends at 11 o'clock tomorrow night when Motorcycle Village closes. You can head to the KSPR Facebook page or our mobile app for everything you need to know, including more events, road closures, and your parking options. A Missouri man is sentenced to 30 years in prison for beating his uncle to death with a hammer. 39-year-old Jason Ayansu was sentenced in St. Louis County for second-degree murder, attempted kidnapping, resisting arrest, and 2 counts of armed criminal action. He attacked his uncle, 63-year-old Levi Batley, in 2009 during a fight outside an apartment of a friend. Batley died of blunt force trauma to his head and body. 2 sets of female remains found in Missouri have now both been identified. One belongs to a teen who disappeared last September. The other belongs to a girl who vanished more than a decade ago, and both have been linked to the same man. 17-year-old Kara Kopetsky went missing in May of 2007, setting off a decade-long search.
We got her back. He doesn't have that to hold over our heads anymore. We got her back. This isn't over yet. I mean, we're just moving into a new phase. And, you know, I'm still determined to get justice for my daughter.
The other girl, identified as Jessica Runyons, who was last seen in September leaving a party with Kyler Youst. Authorities found Runyon's burned vehicle in a wooded area in South Kansas City and charged Yost with burning it. Yost was also the estranged boyfriend of Kara Kopetsky at the time of her disappearance in 2007. No word yet on possible charges that Yost may face in the death of both teens.